Good evening, everyone. I am Regan from Mercedes-Benz Adelaide. We've also got Matt Sandico sitting down here from Mercedes-Benz Adelaide as well. Tonight I'll be talking about the EQC, which is our fully electric vehicle, first of our fully electric vehicles to be released. We have had hybrids in the past, but this is the first when we've stepped completely plug-in electric. This is the first of probably another 6 that we're going to release in the next 5 to 6 years. So as you can see here, these were a few images of the EQC which were advertised when it first came out, showcasing what you can get with it and what is standard. So on the exterior of the vehicle, these will differ slightly to what you get overseas. So in Australia, straight away we've got the AMG line, so we get the sportier exterior. So we start getting the AMG body kit, AMG wheels straight away, and at the rear we start getting the AMG diffuser. You have 2 wheel options. Both of them are aerodynamically designed. So you've got a 20-inch and a 21, same as the one outside. On the front, you've got your multi-beam LED headlights, and these are intelligent as well. So each headlight has got 24 LEDs in them, which are individually controlled. So if a vehicle is coming towards you, they can block out individual LEDs so you don't blind oncoming traffic or signs. As we saw on the one outside, during the day, you'll only have the exterior. At night, you have the full beam that runs the whole way across. This is also the same at the rear. Everything is LED on these vehicles. The interior is the biggest change. All your Mercedes-Benz now have moved towards what they call an MBUX screen, which is touch and voice controlled. And this has also got your AMG interior. So with your full AMG steering wheel, seats, body kit. The interior elements are designed around computers. So from fans to copper, everything implements throughout the vehicle. MBUX also comes with live traffic. So they've now got a built-in 4G SIM. So they can at any time track the vehicle. You can locate where it was parked. You can get SOS straight through to you if there is an emergency. And smartphone integration. Hey Mercedes gives you voice control over the whole vehicle. So at any point you can say, I'm hot, I'm cold, take me home, take me to work, and it will change the whole vehicle. Because they are teed up with the 4G SIM, you can control the vehicle remotely through your phone. So with this function here, you can plug it into charge. You can get it to charge at different points during the day when you're getting the best return. So if you're running solar at home, you can have it charging only during the day, not when it's after. You can also start the climate control with the phone. So you can hit a button, cool down or heat up the car at a set time, at a set temperature, every morning, if you wanted to. These vehicles run acoustic glass, so double thickness glass to block out any noise from the outside. This is both for the driver and for safety. Thicker glass is going to protect you in the event of an accident. You've also got acoustic protection on the outside of the vehicle. So it will emit a low noise at anything below 30 kilometers an hour. Once you go over 30, then tyre noise will take over. If someone's walking along with headphones, it's not going to help at all. Driver assistance package. So these vehicles, as you can see, have 1,000,000 to 1 different sensors running through them. You've got short range and long range coming from both the back, the sides, and the front. At any point, if you do veer out of your lane, the car will pull you back in. If someone was to pull in front of the vehicle, the car will emergency brake. This is both front and rear. You may see this in other vehicles as well, and they may call it something like autopilot. We do have a similar thing with our cruise control, which will do most of the same controls with your hands on the steering wheel. Straight away standard, you've got your premium sound system. When a car doesn't make any noise, any bit of noise that you get on the inside through the sound system has to be perfect. So straight away we've gone for the Burmester premium surround, which is amplified as well. So your additional standard equipment that does come with the vehicle is metallic paint, ambient lighting, which we may have seen outside, heated seats, wireless charging, sunroof, heads-up display, premium package, parking package, and 360 camera. All of this is standard in Australia. So the options you can add in, there's one main big package, which is your electric art. So that has rose gold stitching running throughout the whole vehicle. You can add in the energizing comfort package. So that connects up with your mobile, it connects up with your watches, and it will actually, as you're driving along, you can set it in. I want to be a relaxed mode, I want to be energized mode, and it will change the whole color scheme in the vehicle. It will turn on massage seats if it has it. It will turn on climatized seats if it has it. Heated seats, all to change your mode. So you leave work for the day, I've had a bad day, I want to relax, you put it into relaxed mode, cooled seats, blue lights, mellow music to calm you down. Anti-theft package. So this vehicle, if somebody was to bump into it, you'll get a text message straight away. The alarm will go off. If somebody reaches in the vehicle, the alarm goes off. If somebody tows the vehicle, the alarm will go off. And all this is controlled through your phone. So I could be sitting here now and I could set off the alarm on the vehicle through my phone at any point. Even if you're in Europe, your phone beeps, you can set the alarm off because it's all remote. The other options you can add in, running boards, rear blinds, and third zone climate control. Climatised front seats, heated rear seats, and augmented reality. This is a new one to Mercedes-Benz. This was one of the first models to have augmented reality at the front of the vehicle. So as you're driving along, as you come up to your turn, it'll come up with a live arrow showing you where your turn is, where your house is that you need to stop. Or if you come to a Y junction, it'll tell you which way to go. There is only basically two leather options, which is beige and black. They've tried to limit the options for Australia to make it as simple as possible. 3 trim options and 10 colours. With most Mercedes, they tend to be shades with a few extra bright ones thrown in there. Now the dimensions on the vehicle are similar to most mid-size SUVs. These share a similar chassis to what we call a GLC, which is our mid-size petrol vehicle. They are slightly longer to accommodate the batteries and slightly shorter, all for aerodynamics. The size in the boot is similar to what you'd get from a normal SUV as well. You're not losing any space with the batteries or the rear electric motor. As we can see from here, with the AMG line in Australia, aerodynamics was a big part of it to try to get the maximum range out of the vehicle. So compared to our petrol equivalent, which is at 0.32, we've knocked it down to 2.8. So this includes the AMG front, the air vents that feed through, which are remotely controlled, whether it needs to cool down or heat up the radiator, and then your wheels as well. Now the powertrain. So these are a dual electric motor, 300 combined kilowatts with 760 newton meters. Most of the time the front motor will be using the power. The rear motor is only going to come in when you need the additional power. When you're decelerating, it's going to charge either one motor or both motors. So these are individually controlled through the steering wheel with paddles behind it. As you turn on the regenerative braking and make it more aggressive, it will include more electric motors into the braking. You can still manually brake with your foot, and then at the last minute, it will actually use the physical brakes. So when it comes to servicing, your physical brakes, you will never have to change because they will last a lot longer if you're purely using the electric. The transmission is a 1-speed transmission. It'll either spin forward or reverse. So there's no gear shifts. Most of you have driven electric vehicles, I assume at some point, so would be familiar with this. You go back to a traditional springs at the front, air suspension at the rear. They originally did look at going air suspension front and back. Because of the weight of the vehicle, which is around 2.5 tons, they found they got better handling from this setup. the lithium-ion battery. So 405 volts, 650 kilos, an 80 kilowatt battery. In the future, when we run out of the warranty, these vehicles will potentially go into homes. So we have been speaking with people in Australia, potentially looking at switching these batteries and putting them into home units as a potential option. So it's broken up into 384 cells. These are a sealed unit. If anything was to happen, they replace the whole battery because it's safer and put a new one in. The end goal is to get a similar battery size to this, but obviously with 1,000 kilometres. Safety. So this vehicle last year got a 5-star ANCAP rating with 92% for child and 96% for adults. Charging. So you can run off AC or DC. This is based on what you would need to charge to get 100 kilometres. So on the ultra rapid chargers, which are on the major highways in and out of most towns, it'll take you 10 minutes to get 100 kilometres, compared to plugging it into your wall socket at home, which is going to take 9 hours. The maximum charge that it'll take on DC is 110 kilowatts, compared to your AC down here, which is 1.8 kilowatts. We are associated with the ChargeFox network. So with every EQC, there is 5 years of ultra-fast charging included with it as a subscription. There is more chargers which are popping up. So these two here have definitely been built, and I believe these two were expected to be built in the next couple of months. So we'll have a full network running the whole way through. Now, Mercedes ambitions for 2039. So currently we have 3 different variants of EQ vehicle. So you have your EQ Boost, which is a 48 volt system in most of our vehicles which are coming through. So most petrol vehicles will now start to get this. Then you go up to your plug-in hybrids, which range anywhere from 50 Ks to 70 Ks at the moment on the plug-in hybrid variant. And then you go into your EQC, which is the current one out. Range on these is quoted around 430 kilometres is what they quote. Realistically, most people are going to achieve mid 300s, maybe up to 400, depending on the type of driving they're doing. So by 2022, we expect to have 130 variants in the 48 volt EQ Boost, plug-in hybrid, and the fully electric vehicles. We expect to go carbon neutral by 2022. And expect to be completely carbon neutral in 20 years. So by 2039, our whole fleet will be carbon neutral. 2030, we expect to be 50% plug-in and 50% hybrid. And this is where we're looking at rolling out our next models. So currently we've got the EQC, the C300E, which is a plug-in hybrid. You've got your E, which is your larger saloon, your GLC, and your A, which is your smaller hatch. These cars here are going to be the fully electric variants. By around end of 2022, we expect to have a brand new C-Class out, which a lot of the models in that are going to switch across to either a plug-in hybrid or the 48 volt system. So that'll be the first model to come through with a majority hybrid system. Even now, the SUV variants we've got, we no longer do a diesel. We've only got petrols, and the plug-in hybrids replace the diesel variants. Is there any questions I can answer? Yes?
Is there any locking device for people being drunk trying to use the vehicle?
Not yet. Not yet. So there's not like a breathalyzer system or anything like that built into these. Yes?
I want to ask, just in case Sally forgets, has it got a tow bar?
Because of the weight of the vehicle and ADR rules, tow bars, they haven't explored yet. So there's talk of some aftermarket brands have looked at it. but nothing factory fitted on those.
Have you got a rating for it for towing, or does it say 0 in the manual?
Because if it says 0, then ADR won't let you do it no matter what.
Yeah, I've seen stuff where it said 1600,
Okay.
but the problem with that, you start putting a couple of people in the vehicle or weight or anything, and that's just going to come off that as well. Like they allow for roof racks, and you can put a fair amount of weight on the roof rack as well. But if you put it into sports, it says do not drive with roof racks. So.
No, just so you know, it's a common issue we've found with all electric cars. If you want a tow box trailer or a lightweight camper trailer, not even a caravan,
Yeah.
we're finding that's a big issue, and it's stopping people buying or upgrading because they can't get a tow bar yet.
Especially hybrids as well. So depending on where the battery placement is, sometimes that can interfere where they'd normally put the tow bars.
Really? I mean, the Outlander, the Mitsubishi Outlander,
Oh,
has
yeah.
1.5 tonne
Yeah.
that hybrid, and the other one's the Kona. People have done that as sort of one-off
Yeah.
things because Kona put not recommended, they didn't put 0.
Yeah.
So you still do a bit of calculating to work it out. But we are finding it's a common thing, you know, that's why Mike said,
Yeah.
I'm the stooge that gets to ask this every
Yes.
manufacturer that comes here. But it is a common thing that people are really frustrated, even just to put a bike rack on. And whilst you say you can put it on the roof, not everyone can lift stuff on and off the roof. They'd much rather put it on the back of the car.
I've got a client at the moment that's exactly what he's looking for. So he's trying to look at putting bikes on there, and it's going to look like he has to put roof racks on
I know.
to accommodate that for now.
Yeah, it's a common frustration.
Mm.
Big frustration.
Big frustration.
Frustration.
Yeah.
You too, David. Your selection.
Absolutely. I mean, they tow fantastically well. I mean, you've got guys with Konas towing boats all over Queensland and all that sort of stuff. There's absolutely no reason they can't tow.
No, that's
They
right.
tow better than anything else in lots of ways. And range is something we all know is not such a big issue. You know?
Yeah, we all know. If
Yeah.
you tow stuff,
you
you
know
know
you
it
can lose
affects
your range.
range.
It's okay. Just charge it up.
Cost versus how many cars are on the road is another consideration that has been brought up. So until we start getting more vehicles on the road, the cost for a manufacturer to develop a tow bar that'll fit one particular vehicle is fairly high. If it,
This is worldwide.
yeah, yeah,
So, yeah.
I mean, even Tesla are weird about Australia because you can buy a Tesla with a tow bar in the States and you can't get it here.
yeah.
You know, come on, it's Australia. We need tow bars.
Oh,
You can buy a tow bar for an old IMEV in Canada,
Yeah.
$220 over the counter.
yeah.
And tow a trailer, and yet here it's absolutely forbidden.
Some of our other models, petrol models, they'll have 2.5 anywhere else in the world, but because it's Australia, they knock it down to 2,000.
Why do you know why that is?
It's Australian standards. It's
Yeah.
nothing
Oh,
to
okay.
manufacture.
Yeah, yeah, it's Australian standards, they make it harder. And because Australia is a smaller market for a lot of manufacturers, they turn around and they say, well, to make one tow bar that will fit one manufacturer. Yeah, Yeah.
We understand, but it is a really common frustration
yeah.
amongst EV, and it does affect sales, which is really disappointing.
Yeah, as you go bigger cars, definitely. Even the small ones, a lot of people come in and ask, can I put a tow bar on it? And they end up buying a bigger car in a hybrid or in a petrol just to be able to
They
tow.
need it just so
Yeah.
they can get the tow bar. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, do we have other technical questions? Well, I'd like to ask a bit more about
Yeah.
range, like the efficiency of it. Your 80 kilowatt pack, I assume that, you know, you're not using it too empty, but so you're talking about 350, 60 kilometres
Yeah.
in the real world
So
from what, 70 kilowatts? Or?
they quote run it between 20 and 80% to get optimum life out of the battery. If you're doing long range, then they say put it up to 100% to get you the maximum range.
So that range figure they're quoting, is that at 80%? Or
That would be at 100.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I was talking mid 300s, because that's where most people running between 20 and 80%.
That would only be the 80%.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
You said the batteries can be guaranteed for 8 years. How long is the battery supposed to last?
That's how long the warranty is. And they're saying after the warranty expires, some people will want to either put in a new battery or they'll want to put it into their house and upgrade their battery because 8 years from now, the cost of batteries is going to dramatically change. So what you could potentially go out and pay for a battery now versus 8 years, you could put in a more dense battery, get better range out of it for probably similar price to what you'd pay now.
Are the cars designed to be upgradable?
Yes.
They are.
Well, yeah, the batteries are designed to be removed, put a new one in straight away, just in case there is a fault. So any impact, they'll rip the battery out and put a new one in.
Do you have a price for a battery replacement? We're all sitting down.
Oh. The equipment involved, the labour that's involved, and then just the battery itself. The battery itself isn't too bad in terms of the cost of the total vehicle. It's the labour and the equipment that they have to hire, because there's only certain machines in Australia that are designed to bolt straight into it, take it out, put a new one in. So it can get expensive depending on how long they take to fix it. But if it's an insurance job, then it's insurance's problem.
That's great.
Yeah.
If it's not, it's a shame. We didn't ask the price of the car.
So that vehicle, a basic vehicle, is about 142 drive away, plus any of the options that you saw on there. So something like the one outside is about 146.
Yep.
So between now and December, they're running charge box installed, 3 years servicing included in that as well.
Can you just explain the purchase process to the group, and also if I wanted to negotiate on buying that style vehicle?
Yes.
Explain that.
So the EQCs, they are completely run through head office. So there's one or two representatives, depending on which state, are the only people that are allowed to sell it. They're the forward-facing member. Everything else, you could jump online now and pay with your credit card over the phone or online and buy one of these through head office. So you never have to come into a dealership if you don't want. When you come to pick up the car, you can just walk in, pick the keys up for me and drive off. So it's a completely different design. So now you can do it without having to come into the dealership at all. We would still love you to come into the dealership. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I used to work for the dealership for Mercedes, and that seems just completely out of character with everything I know about Mercedes-Benz, the brand.
They're moving, the whole brand is moving that way.
Yeah.
Every vehicle is going to be fixed price, doesn't matter what state you're in, it's just the car plus on-roads.
And the fixed price part. I was always the stiffest on price, but
Yeah.
the not, like throw someone a key and let them go out the door not knowing what's in the car, that was completely not allowed.
No.
You've got to explain everything.
And that's the problem with buying it straight online. People still want to come in and learn about the vehicle, but some people just want nothing to do with the dealership. They just want to buy a car, pick it up, and be out of there. So it's good and bad. A lot of people now are really confused about it because they come in, they speak to someone, oh, I want to pay a deposit. I can't take your money. And they're creeped out by that. Like a salesman not wanting to take your money. So they have to go on a website, put in their details, and then pay it straight through the head office. We don't see any of the money. Nothing comes through the dealership. It's all transacted through head office. And they'll do that with all of the EQ models as they come out. The next one is probably the biggest seller for us, which is the smaller vehicle. So that's when you're getting into your small SUV, and you're probably talking sub 100 for that, which a lot more buyers will then be interested in it. When you're getting up mid 100s, it's a different ballgame. You're comparing it to a lot more vehicles, and a lot of people are turning around and going, well, do I want an EV vehicle? Do I want an AMG? Do I want this? I want that. Like, there's a lot more market at that $150,000 mark. If you're going sub 100, there's still a lot more competition, but it's a Mercedes-Benz competing against your Hyundais and your Kias and everything in a smaller vehicle with the same technology that we've got outside.
So does that pricing structure, you said negotiation, I take it there's not much online?
They're fixed. They're a fixed price vehicle. It doesn't matter what state you go to. So some people, I've had people from interstate that have called me and said, can you do a better price? And you go, well, once you add on-roads, it's the same price. I've had one previously where the guy was actually willing to spend SA on roads because he was going to come across, drive around the Barossa for a bit and then drive it back. That's the only time I've had someone interstate because it's the same price. And they've done that so each dealership isn't stepping on each other's toes. And that's the way they want to move forward.
That's never happened in the past.
No, never.
How does that work with people that want to trade in?
We'll still definitely trade in vehicles. So it'll be based on the individual dealership providing you with a price and saying this is how much your vehicle is worth, and that would just come off the purchase price of the new vehicle. So we pay you for the car and then we pay head office.
With the wireless charging, is it an induction type or some other method of wireless charging?
Is it?
Induction.
I believe so. I'd have to confirm on that one. I'm not sure exactly what type of wireless charging it is. So your phone will sit on there and it will charge through there on most of your new phones, but I'm not sure the exact technology.
Sorry, on charging, what rate of AC charging will it accept? Is it 7 kilowatts or more than that?
So you'll go on AC, you can go up to 22.
Right, okay, that's good.
On public chargers, yeah, at home it's only 7.4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions?
Yes.
I was just going to ask you, in the beginning you said this one, the chassis was based on another vehicle.
Yes.
Is that a vehicle that you sell currently?
Yes. So that's,
You've driven both?
yes.
So could you sort of give us a bit of a brief comparison of what you think this is this sort of sportier or better or smoother or quieter? Or?
I'm currently driving the plug-in hybrid, so that's my other vehicle that I drive. I love the EQC. Like, it's amazing in terms of performance when you compare the two. It's softer on the ride. Between the two of them, the EQC would win out of the two, but the GLC for most people is what they prefer at the moment, which is the plug-in hybrid version, because they're not jumping the whole way into electric vehicles. They're still scared about range. Most people, when you actually sit down and you talk to them about range, you go, well, how much do you drive a day? 50 Ks. You're going to be charging it maybe once or twice a week. And then they go, oh, what happens if I drive to Brisbane? Well, when was the last time you did that? Oh, 3 years ago. Yeah. So a lot of people, they're happy with the hybrid. The EQC, they turn around and they go, I don't know if I'm ready for that yet until we start getting more charging points or we get a bigger benefit from the government to go for EQ, then they'll hold on to the hybrid variants.
So that the hybrid one, is that got the same sort of special grill and all those things? Has that got the AMG type of stuff on it, or?
Not standard, no. So you can add the AMG styling into it.
So if you added all the options on it, on the petrol, the hybrid one, to be the same as this one, would they be similar price? Or?
No. There's still about a $30,000-$40,000 difference between the two vehicles. So the hybrid engine is only a 15 kilowatt battery and a 90 kilowatt electric power with 440 newton meters. So it's about half the power of what you're getting from that.
Thank you.
That's right.
So, sorry, what's the range on the hybrid one?
They quote 50. You're achieving probably about 40 to 45. And the fuel consumption about high twos as a realistic amount.
Yeah, the only question I really care about is how fast is it going, like 0 to 100 and all that.
5.1.
Okay.
5.1, yeah. Again, that depends on temperature. So people have tested it and they've got 4.9. People have tested it and they got 5.
It'll get
Yeah.
warmer and go faster.
Yeah. Yeah. There will be faster ones coming, but they just haven't released that yet. So this is Mercedes-Benz, then you'll have your AMG technicians that will jump into it and start playing around with it. So there is some models coming through which are a collaboration between Mercedes-Benz and AMG, and they'll be the ones with the high performance. They'll probably be more likely a hybrid over the straight electric to start off with. So one they've got at the moment is 700 plus kilowatts that they'll have out.
Okay, so have we got any last questions about this? It looks a pretty deluxe car from what some of us are used to driving.
Are you
Electric or
raffling one
otherwise?
tonight?
No, no.
Sorry, what was that, David?
Are you raffling one tonight?
Ah, yes, please.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question. Just servicing,
Yes.
I suppose that's just the windscreen washer fluid and brake fluid every 4 years or something, is it? Or-
You-
Cabin air filter.
You've still got coolant. You've still got suspension, brakes, tyres. Everything else is just man hours working on it. So you have to get a high voltage technician to work on the vehicle because of the power running through them, and it's paying for that. So over 5 years, it's about 2,400 in total. So once a year
But the first 3 years comes for free.
at the moment, yeah.
So that'd be just 2 or 3 hours or something, would it, I suppose, or?
Depending on what they have to do, they'll have to pull all the plugs off, check everything, pull the battery out, check that, then check brakes, suspensions, road tester, plug it in and check any updates that have to be done in it. Most of the time, because it is all electronic, there will be updates. So they'll be going through and updating maps or anything else that they can add in there. They can remote update as well, but not the same size files that they can add in person. Because it could take 5-6 hours to update some of the big updates.
Is there like a connectivity you got to pay for, 4G?
No. No, there's no cost with any of the Mercedes Me functions. So the tracking, the SOS, the emergency phone calls, the roadside assistance, anything like that. Yeah, there's no updates like in terms of cost for that.
And is there a fair use policy on the box charging?
There,
Could you have someone just zooming up and down the highway once we're allowed to travel again?
there is fair use, but you have to be driving a lot to make good use of it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think we might leave it there. I'd like you to join me in thanking Regan very much for
Thank you.